So welcome everybody. Since we have a new face here, I want to do introductions. Doug Bogan, Chair.
And Melvin.
Gary Avery, Commissioner. Matt Morris.
Pat Lindsay, I do the minutes.
Jack Gale, Vice Chair and Treasurer.
Paul Panish, member.
Ernie Crevlin, your new plan.
And can you say a little bit about your background? Or
Sure. Well, I've been in municipal government since 1990.
Uh-huh.
So I started out in Texas as a building inspector, and then a building official, then a planner, and then I came back to Maine. Worked in Sanford for about 8 years. That was a great experience because they have all kinds of, well, back in the day, they had all kinds of abandoned mill buildings, and they had an old Nassau College campus and all of these things. I was a community development director, so we did a lot of work in those areas, and just a lot of grant writing and so forth. And then I went to Farmington, New Hampshire for 8 years as town administrator. And then I went to Raymond, New Hampshire for 13 years as their planner of community development director. And, I had the last 5 years has been kind of strange, especially the last one because my mom was really sick. And so I was lucky to be able to spend the last 8 months with her, and she passed away in January. But yeah, I mean, I've been dealing with land use, zoning. I was in the city of Concord as their zoning administrator. So, I mean, I've got a lot of familiarity, and I kind of stepped into this role. And I mean, I've dealt with a whole bunch of different questions from people, and I'm already getting familiar with a couple of pieces of land. I know you've had past attempts at developing that were kind of controversial.
Yes.
105 acres, if that rings a bell to anybody. I mean, it's off Green Hill. Is it Green Hills? Is that right? The street up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? I don't remember the development. Yeah.
Yeah. There's I think it was an excavation project, and they were going to eventually, build a subdivision in there, but I think it got dropped because there was so much controversy about it, and
Oh yeah.
probably the timing was terrible in front of the
it's the gravel pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That
then,
was off Poland.
It's off Green Hill Road.
How long ago was that?
That was quite a few years ago.
Yeah, okay, so I wasn't.
yeah. Is it Canaan Back Road? Is that how you say it? Canaan?
Yeah.
I said this all the time.
Yeah, there's a big piece of, a lot of acreage out there that somebody's coming in Monday to talk about.
Yeah,
I mean, you got a lot of potential,
that's Coot Farm.
That's Coot Farm, and
Probably.
and,
that came on the tail end of the Young Road project, so it got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Pretty looks.
yeah, in the planning board, there'll be, I think in the next couple of months, but they have to be in by September 17th, but the folks down at the town center that are looking to develop a community lane, is that what it is? The one that goes past Dove and into the back, they've got
Community.
conceptual, a bunch of townhouses and some commercial. But yeah, so it's I like the staff here, and especially like your technology setup. I mean,
What are your responsibilities? I mean, I've never really been completely clear on what the town planner here was supposed to be doing. I know you help run the planning board meetings.
right, ZBA meetings. And I'm supposed to attend these as needed, conservation commission meetings. I'm happy to do that as much as you want and to provide any kind of assistance you need. Because I did some work with the conservation commissions in just about in every community I've been in, except for the ones I was town manager and town administrator in. So it's, I love this kind of work, and I like the different projects you came in. I'm looking forward to learning about what you folks are involved with.
Great. All right, well, it's great to have you on board. So, just mention our newest regular member, Steve. Is this Ernie?
Ernie, hey, Steve Hubbs, how are you?
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Your last name?
Planning director.
Crediling.
Yeah.
Oh.
C-R-E-D is in
Sorry, we
Victor.
didn't announce it.
E-L-I-N-G.
Okay.
Anybody else have
on
any
the
questions
website
for Ernie? Okay, well, we'll get started. We have all our regular members here, so on the regular voting. Did anybody get a look at the last minutes?
yet? I looked
A
at
month
them, they
ago.
look good to me.
Questions, comments? It's good. Okay, we'll accept them as submitted. Treasurer's report?
Nothing changed from, well, I had the numbers for last thing, but for the end of May, we got $1,709.21 in interest, bringing the total up above, drum roll please, $800,705.52. I added the 12,000 and change that we might be taking on with the forest plan, management plan we're gonna talk about.
Well, probably
Yeah.
not, but we'll get
Okay,
to that.
but that still puts us around, it's still around about $500,000 of obligation. And that's the dam, land projects we agreed to donate on the Bedford lots around Harris Lake. It does not include the employment idea we had,
Well, that appears to be dead.
because that appears to be dead. I mean, I've left it in the notes, so we can know what we talked about, all the big plans we had. Someday, you'll have to talk to Connor about that. But that still means that we're in a good place with, we got about $300,000 over obligations. Of course, that's based on 2019 quote on the dam.
Right.
Yeah, that's, it depends on, I don't think lowering it is gonna reduce the price much, so I'm assuming the price is gonna go way up.
But that's our commitment.
Well, we haven't made the commitment.
Yeah, there's no formal.
And we don't know how much of that we might be sharing with other
Right.
facets of the town.
Yeah, no, it'll probably be a total cost significantly more than
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully we won't
that.
be
Yeah,
paying it all. But did you say that it did include some for the Ayers Lake?
Yeah, I put in the 100
yeah.
that we had talked about,
But
and,
it sounds like there's some wiggle room there, certainly.
well, things will
That's one
change.
of the
If they're
things
still
that
out
we
asking people for
discussed.
money, they may come in and say, hey, we only need 65 from you or something,
Yeah.
we hope. But,
But we're certainly able to cover that.
yeah,
Right.
it's gonna probably be touchy, just because, some of their sources could dry up, given that some of them stem from federal or state money, and the state money comes from federal too, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll discuss that a bit more a little later, but that all sounds good. Anything else?
No, I didn't spend anything.
Okay. So we have just a couple of new items, relatively new, I guess. The Green Hill Stone Arch new trail, something that the Trails Committee's been working on for some time now, probably a couple of years since the land got
Well,
available.
we looked at it, but we finally started putting tape down, as far as tape.
Be able to get.
is that what you sent me? or
Yeah,
those
that
pictures.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's it, so you can
Sorry.
pull it up.
I can describe it because I walked it, I think you walked it
There's
too.
four images, I don't know which,
And it's the top one.
We want the top one that shows the loop.
well, I don't know what the top one is.
Well,
Okay, it's the one with the
The
green
other
lines.
one.
Yeah, that
That
one.
one, yeah.
Okay.
Are you able to
If you can get
enlarge
that.
it or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if folks recall, this is area C, I guess, on the,
Yeah.
of the open space back here behind the town hall.
Yeah, if you go up there and, if you know the loop, and I think it's September Lane, I don't know, can I still get the bottom part here? But there's one house right about here, those little McMansions. But then you walk in, you walk across here. This is the road that is frequently flooded and is really rutted a lot.
Which oddly
So-
enough is called Green Hill Extension.
Yeah, it's Green Hill Extension, but
Well,
we
it
can't.
doesn't connect to Green Hill Road
Yeah.
proper, but it does go up Green Hill, which is actually what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
So this was pretty easy. This won't take much work because it's fairly open. If you could move the map down and show the proper area. Most of it's surrounded by a rock wall, so it gives us a lot of place along there. This area in here has got some water and some very thick growth, new growth. Don't know the exact history of it, but there'll be some hacking to get through, here with, saws and loppers. But a lot of this goes around here. Some places we came off the wall just for a change of pace, but it creates a loop.
And then the idea is to be able to connect back to the road if for some reason somebody wanted to go a different route, they have that option, so.
Now the other, if you could pull up the other one. That would, that squiggly mess.
It's just,
What?
do you remember the acreage?
No.
It's not that big, it's like 30 acres.
No, this is gonna be sort of like Village Place where it's gonna be close to downtown.
Right.
Connor wants people to park here and walk over, because I think if you go park out in the neighborhood, you're gonna piss off the people with the $80,000 homes. This wasn't, the original idea was, hey, we're gonna walk behind the homes. The problem is it's got a lot of terrain, a lot of water, and in some places, there's not much room between where the lot ends and where the house lots are. They didn't leave a whole lot of extra good land for us to make. The idea was hopefully we could make a trail that would go all the way around and over to that.
Yeah.
That would take a lot of work.
Yeah,
And a lot of bridges.
and most of below there is all wetland as well, including several vernal
Yeah.
pools.
I don't know exactly, but I mean, he's got a water drop right there, but there's quite a bit of it there.
Yeah.
The people that have gone out there have not talked fondly of it. So this is their track from exploring and trying to find ways around.
I've been up the lower side, I guess it's really the south side, but you come up on the border on the private land, and you're either going to get your feet wet or you're going to be in somebody else's property. So and even so, it's harder to get. You can't get across the big wetland area very easily. So this is kind of Plan B was Area C, I guess.
What is the thing that looks like a big mudslide?
Yeah, that's the one of the water runoff retention areas for from the road work. And there's 3 of them, I think, altogether, which we weren't really well apprised of before they built them, but they were on the plan, and evidently the state approved that they could do that in a conservation area. Which I don't like that idea, but that's the rules we have.
I walked, was it you that we walked there? We walked the perimeter.
Yeah.
And so I see your trail was a little in of the perimeter, but it was pretty clean to me.
Yeah, you're talking about an Area C?
Area C. When we
yeah.
walked, it was,
The other
there's
map.
actually, it's just a beautiful property, easy to walk through.
I'm talking the other map.
The other
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and then, it's relatively flat, so that's why I kind of compared it to Village Place. When we're done, we're gonna have 3 relatively small, relatively flat places that you can walk close to downtown. When we restore access at Turtle Cam, Malago Brook, of course, Village Place, the Queen of Village Place is here, and this one. The one idea we also had was, and Doug we watched it together, was the interconnectivity project, and we looked at the rail trail that goes over there. But in this section, we have 2 issues. One is the terrain from that trail to here. It's challenging. There is no easy place to get out. And secondly, I can't believe we would set something up just to come hike this thing, because people are going to get killed out there. People are driving 55. It's coming uphill around the corner. There is no safe way. Now, we heard that there was a plan for crosswalks in the center in 2032.
Right.
So it's going to be 2132 before you get one out there, given the state it's the state's road. I can't imagine, even if we had easy terrain to come over from there to get here, I would not want to direct anybody to try to cross that road with the speed they're going and the terrible sight lines.
Yeah, it's a little better down Pond Road, but the problem
You
is
could build a bridge.
the Green Hill extension is miserable. Been down there, there's a huge mud puddle where all the 4-wheelers go getting their baths.
Yeah.
And so you can't really get in that way. So either way, you're going to be walking on.
Because that connectivity project, the northern terminus of I'll call it the cruciform shape they've got, is here. And so we said, oh, we have a hiking space right here. Well, yeah, but a combination of, you're gonna have to park here and walk roads to get to it. But to come off the other potential trail, being the rail trail, like I said, if you don't fall on your butt trying to get here, you might get squashed by a car.
Yeah.
So, but this one can still go on and still be used.
Yeah, well, I actually got a request from Charlie Tatum, who's chairing the Trails Committee, to basically approve it, I guess, just so you guys can formally get started with working on it.
You mean the other map?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you go back to just see if anybody else has any questions.
We're cutting 2 trails now. This one, and we got one out on the Goodwill property.
Right, right. Yeah,
And
but we figured this is far enough along that we ought to be able to.
yeah, this one would be much easier than the one on Goodwill.
Mhm.
Goodwill, because of all the logging destruction. We're trying to figure out what to do with that.
Right,
There's a small trail off of Goodwill that John went and got the word, and I'd have to go look up on our notes, but he got the Abenaki word for where the beaver are. We're thinking of using that because it goes out to the Big Beaver Dam, and since we already have a trail out there called Beaver Loop.
Mhm.
We're also discussing maybe this one and the big trail we're cutting out on Goodwill, maybe turning it over to Connor and Tiffany for next year's kids vote election.
Mhm.
Because I asked them some questions about it last time, and what they do is the nominations come in and they whittle them down to anything that doesn't work, that can't be done. Like the I voted stickers that have Donald Trump on it, face on it, yeah, you can't do that. But so we could, we won't get a Bodie McBoatface like that ferry down in New York got, but it'll be something that kids can vote on, a trail name. So we're thinking of doing that. I don't know, I was gonna bring it up just if you guys are getting any problem with that before we, keep moving along that path.
Yeah. Well, why don't we deal with this one first, just
Yeah.
to make it official. Does anybody have any further questions, comments? Sound good to you?
It'd be great.
Get a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the trail committee to commence construction of the currently named Stone Arch at Green Hill Trail.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Okay, I think it's unanimous. Thank you. Did you want to get a sense of the group about the naming?
Yeah, just the naming things. One was, we haven't put it on anything yet, but we are going to be going to Selt soon there's a trail that comes up from the south end off of Ross Road, loops up around his property, and eventually connects up, if you remember, the Goodwill Trail. It's got a U-loop down there. Just beyond where the Winnie the Pooh Trail ends on the south end, so allow people to do a big loop. And we were thinking, we could easily come up with names ourselves, but this it'll help Connor's program, and it might help advertise that, hey, we got new trails out here, and get the kids more part of it. Because we could use some younger hikers. Yeah, like everything else in town, it's run by old people.
Yeah. And they might get their parents out to
Yeah.
check it out too.
I think it's a big problem, right? I feel like most people don't know that the trails are around.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge.
Well, some do, and they'll talk about it, and then you ask them questions, and they go, well, and we find out there's a bunch of people that they're afraid to go out and get lost.
Yeah.
And we go out, we teach them blazes and, how to read trails. Here's what the maps are, and here's all trails, and almost all trails, but there are people that.
But I do get inquiries fairly regularly, at half a dozen in the last year, just, they weren't aware that we have a website, and because it's not the town website, I guess.
Well, you can get there from there. If you
Yeah.
go to the town page for the Concom, it'll take you to it.
But for
the
one
big
reason
thing
or
is-
another, they hadn't
Yeah.
done that, they didn't know that there were maps and
Yeah.
photos.
And I guess another thing as far as a heads up would be, since this is also money related, is John and members of the Trails Committee, we are re-editing and updating chapters and new chapters for the book. That's so popular.
Right, right.
So well, if you remember, last time we did it, originally John was extending the money and then getting it back, and towards the end, we changed it. The VCC extended the money. Relative to what we got, it's small dollars.
Yeah.
But the book, this is a trail guide, history, who lived there, how did we get it, what's beautiful out there, and stuff. And it's very popular. A lot of people were buying them at Christmas time, and we had probably 10 places in town that were selling them, including the library, Hodges Barber Shop,
All
Taylor's.
with all the reprintings, it was 300 or 400 total.
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at some more.
But I know it was several hundred.
Yeah, I think it was probably, it was easily, I want to say 4 to 5.
Yeah.
But
And all the info is available online at the website, but obviously it's nice to have it. You can stick it in your day bag.
Yeah.
Maps and everything.
So the book might be coming again. I don't know if we can make it happen for this Christmas or not.
Yeah, but hopefully not too much longer.
Well, part of this, some of this is, we've got, at least we want to get the new stuff in.
Right. Yeah.
We can write a book or we can go on clear trails.
Yeah. Yeah.
And John's been, until recently, been limited in what he can do.
Yeah. Right. So do folks like the idea of doing the naming project
Yeah, great idea.
with some guidelines?
Yeah, we would have to get, we would
Give
get,
them a-
here's everything that's nominated and, we're not
Pick
going
out 4 or 5 that
we're not going to name, we're not going to name anything the Dead Squirrel Trail or something. But if you look at some of the trail names we get out there,
yeah.
it's pretty weird. The Santa Claus Trail, we found out that Santa Claus has been stolen again. We've got to get a new one. The SB Trail, which stands for Scuzzy Blanket,
Right.
probably won't do that one again. But then we got a trail called the Ian Melvin Trail that we're very proud of.
Yeah. A few others as well.
Because if you're tired of walking the Pooh Trail, it's a nice way to get back.
Yeah. Yeah. And one other related item I just found out about last night, I happened to end up at the Friends of the Library meeting because my wife is a friend of the library, a trustee actually, so I tagged along. But one of the ideas they were kicking around, and they'd seen another town, Reading, Mass. They created a whole deck of cards that had photos of, prominent places around town. And it's a bigger town, so they had a lot more items.
Yeah,
But
Reading is.
but anyway, they thought it might be interesting to see if we could come up with one. I thought it made sense for the Town and Trails project as well. We've talked about a bit here.
Was the attempt to get a 52 card deck so they could be used as playing cards?
Yeah, but I was thinking, and they specifically, they pointed to me and say, hey, how about the trails? We could have each trailhead. So there's 14 public trails at
You need
least.
a picture of the trailhead or interesting
Or
features
some
on the trail?
feature,
Yeah.
Barrington, Stonehenge or whatever, that would be of interest to people. And we don't have to limit it to that. But then I was thinking, well, if you got a deck of cards, then you'd have numbers and suits and you could have, there's 14, 12. Anyway, you might be able to arrange it so, all the trails would be in one.
All the trails are with the spades or something.
Something like
I don't
that.
know.
Anyway.
But it sounds like you want to go, it's bigger for the town, so that probably might need to go up to the interconnectivity project too, because they can,
Right. Yeah,
between what
that's-
the rec does,
Right.
and, maybe you wrap this in with the, I don't know if you can do this, but with the Greater Barrington Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
no,
it seems like
that'll all be tied in for
Yeah.
sure, yeah. But anyway, it seemed like that would be one other way we could help get the word out.
Yeah, one thing you probably can't do is trail maps, because a trail map on a regular bicycle-sized car would
Yeah.
have to read.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't, obviously it would just be the name of the trails.
Name,
But
picture.
Yeah,
The
it's
cliffs
an
and stuff.
interesting picture. It would-
Yeah.
And get them intrigued about it. And, it could kind of be like the trail trekker challenge that, go to every site that's on the card, something like that. Maybe the Chamber of Commerce or the Town and Trails Committee would want to encourage something like that. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if that's really going to happen.
Has anyone, just be careful when you suggest things to Connor, because he can get very excited. Next thing you know, he's already got you on a committee.
Yeah. No, I always think that.
It's not long enough to figure that out.
Assuming it can be done, I don't know what it would involve printing them and all, but seemed like there were people that were interested.
Well, I know there was companies that make custom Monopoly games,
Right.
and I had a kit once and I did it.
Yeah.
for my grandfather's 100th. I did it with his life.
Yeah.
I put all kinds of key points and stuff in there, but I'm sure there's someone who does it now since almost everything can be customized.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we gotta move on, I guess. It's enough on trails. The Satwasser Forestry Plan, or the proposal to have a plan, basically, I sent around a couple days ago. I don't know if folks got a chance to look at it. It's pretty straightforward. And it covers all of Satwasser, but also several other properties. And unfortunately, we don't have the map, but it lists them there. I'm sure people don't know the numbers, but Lot 19 in particular, let's see.
That's the last one.
Yeah, I think it was, no, I'm sorry, lot 13.1 is the property that was previously proposed for an eco-industrial park for folks that have been around a long time. We voted on that. It's right on 125 and has, commercial potential. So I believe there's been a RFP out for some time now to develop part of it anyway. But obviously it makes sense to get a forestry plan to know what's out there and have a better sense of what, if they are gonna do something with it, it'd be good to have a sense of what's.
So that parcel's not in conservation?
Right, and it's town owned, but it's not in conservation.
Okay.
Where is it?
It's on 125, the truck rental place.
Yeah.
I guess it used to be Liberty Trucks, but it's got a different name. But yeah, and across from the, what's it called?
Newtown Road.
Newtown Road. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, because there also, I heard there's some discussions about that intersection too.
Yeah, and like I said, I hoped we have a map that we could show. I guess you could pull up the
I mean, I've got
assessment
GIS,
parcels.
I don't have the assessment, but I've got Satwasser,
Yeah,
which is,
yeah. But anyway, it abuts on Satwasser, and it actually, a good portion of it is right adjacent to the largest eastern Atlantic cedar forest that's in there, the swamp, as well as the Eversource power line.
That's the place where they had the target shooting problem, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I thought that was on the south end.
I thought it was down
Yeah, could have been, but yeah. Scroll down a bit. Yeah, it's kind of an L-shaped. Yeah, it's that's go a little further down.
that's the one that Connor pitched us, the idea of, the town's promoting that for light industry, right?
Right, yeah, and the latest idea is that they might even put in a solar farm, that might be attractive or could be part of the package. The Energy Committee has some concerns, I guess, about taking virgin forest and turning it into.
Yeah. When you take like brownfield places and do it, it's, you took something that
Yeah.
it would cost us a fortune to restore the forest, but we can.
It's not best practices. let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
But anyway, that's one of the parcels. And then actually there's a little one, Liberty Trucks is that square
This thing.
one, the diamond shaped. And then right above it is also a town lot. That's only like 7 acres or so. And then,
That's Pierce Road, yeah.
yeah, it's right on Pierce Road. So that's most of the town owned. But if you scroll over,
Which one?
to the left, there's 2 little rectangles in that corner adjacent to South.
Go up there and point and I'll highlight it. Doug, I
Yeah.
can't tell what you're talking.
Yeah, these 2 here.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Dexter Pardon lands. I guess that was somebody who went bankrupt or whatever, ended up in the town ownership. Yeah, so that one and the one just adjacent to it. So those are also not in conservation, but they're obviously adjacent to, and pretty much near the trailhead, I guess. I don't know exactly.
Well, the trailhead, you can see,
Yeah, where
where I think it's Cedar.
Tibbetts Road comes in.
Yeah, Tibbetts Road comes right
But
there.
it extends a little bit further, right? Or is it
No, it comes-
close to that lot? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any trails that go that way because we kind of come in on the road here before we go up and before we get to some of those wetlands, we go up into here, and that's where Highland, not Highland, Santa Claus and Rudolph's run, and Scuzzy Blanket runs that way. But, this is already about 1,500 acres.
Yeah.
The town owns that?
Yeah.
Yes, this
Yeah.
large parcel.
And I think
Yeah,
New Hampshire, the National Preservation of Forests, New Hampshire Preservation of
Right.
Forest holds the easement.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's only the second largest conservation area in town, the Stonehouse Forest. We'll have to get you out there to see all these places, but it's quite a, incredible resource. And I should mention that, it's a forestry plan, but Connor isn't necessarily expecting that they're going to be doing forestry, actually logging out there, except maybe on the non-easement parcels. But, it's really a matter of getting a baseline, knowing what's out there. And it's been some time since anything's been done. There also been some concerns raised about the habitat. If you know, the kind of eastern third of the land was roughly clear cut or patch cuts 10, 12 years ago, maybe. Might have been more.
Yeah, we were out there last fall with UNH.
Right.
And of course, all the deciduous stuff was cut. Now it's come all back, and it's all small,
Right.
5 and 6 trunks each now, because that's how they come back.
Yeah.
But they never seeded it with rabbits. They were they really wanted that New England cottontail.
Right.
A few places, I guess, in Dover and Durham where they did seed them,
Mhm.
they didn't last long.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably because they were new, and
Yeah.
they said they think they might have bred. They're not sure, but they found some markers and they were all chewed up. So
Yeah.
coyotes was the likely.
Yeah.
That's why I want to ask, because on their plan that he showed earlier, they talked about wildlife habitat, and I guess maybe I don't know if we want to add a specific line on, which would be specific recommendations on the habitat.
Right.
Not,
Yeah.
because I think he's just going to give us wildlife in general, but, to do more clearing for that, I'd have to question, if you're not going to go the extra mile to put something in there,
Mhm.
um,
Well, actually, there's
a lot of
one.
people aren't that crazy about rabbits either.
Yeah, well, there's one other idea for something a little different. I was out there several years ago, and I think it was specifically to look at the habitats. They did I don't remember who was sponsoring. It wasn't the Trails Committee, I guess, but although I'm sure Charlie Tatum and a few others were on it. But anyway, Charlie Moreno, another Charlie, who's a expert forester, independent, I guess, these days. I got chatting with him, and he said, well, this could be a really good place for encouraging whippoorwills. That's a bird in the one that goes whippoorwill late at night. And I don't think they're endangered, but they're threatened. What?
Yeah, it's threatened.
Yeah, it's a threatened species. And he said that there may be funding available. This was several years ago. Maybe it's no longer there, but anyway, the idea is that it could be a potential handle on, how to maintain that area for some wildlife.
You probably went out the time where we had some of the UNH students that were doing some of their studies out there, where it was on the eastern side of Savawasser,
Right.
and they can put the nets up and catch birds and tag them and identify them and all that. And, the one thing that has changed out there is the picture post program. That's gone.
Right.
Because they moved it from UNH to University of Oklahoma, and then they proceeded to blow up the computer.
Yeah, so it just all
They
disappeared.
all disappeared, and they canceled the program, so we
Yeah.
pulled the post down.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
just for your
And
knowledge,
it's gotten really overgrown.
like 3 different river systems. You can see the oyster running
Right.
there diagonally, but there's town of Barrington has got 5 different river watersheds in southeast New Hampshire. No one's got 5 except us.
Mhm.
And so between our own water use and the fact that we help feed the Bellamy for Portsmouth, and Rochester's reservoirs are on the northwest side of town. And the fact that some of these rivers coming out in the Bellamy and all that, they're feeding they feed other people's
Yeah.
water too.
Yeah, so, the W in Saltwasser, actually
Yeah.
WR is water supply reserve. So that was the initial concept of this, is that it's a really important water protection area, besides being a great habitat, great place to hike
Yeah,
around.
it's why it's one thing we don't allow horses out there.
Right.
It's because their byproducts can not good for water supplies.
Yeah.
When is this forestry plan?
This summer, I guess. I think he's raring to go. Connor just contacted me and said, "Do you guys have any input, any ideas?" So I said, "Well, we're having a meeting next week. I'll get back to you." So I was planning to put in something about the habitat, just to consider the options. To look
Yeah.
at what.
It came up, I think, with
he's
Charlie
looked at.
Moreno in the recent past, and it's like, do we want to spend money to go in and do that again?
Right. Yeah, we just let it grow
It was
back.
sort of a program.
Certainly not in the same way it was done.
No, it was sort of, we cleared the land, but we didn't put in the rabbits, and I don't think there was, I think once they started seeding rabbits, and I think Dover and Durham, they weren't counting here.
Yeah.
And
And I don't think they ever intended to.
No, it was sort of, we'll make it nice for rabbits and hope that they come in, but I don't even know,
There's even
yeah.
a pathway.
And I think if you ask most people in Barrington, what do you think of rabbits? There's a lot of species they don't like depending on what they do. Rabbits take out their garden and beavers flood their
There's a
backyard.
difference between the rabbit
But-
and your.
Yeah, but I'm assuming they eat similar stuff.
Yeah, but they really live in a different, they don't come into your backyard. That's the thing. That's why they're endangered. They don't have that
And
option.
that habitat is in the middle of a fairly large plot of land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like if the rabbits were there that they were gonna get out. I don't know I know there's a environmental term for the range of what an animal likes. I don't think rabbits is that big, but,
So this is really a proposal for like a assessment of forestry and habitat.
Yeah.
It's not a quote forestry logging.
Yeah,
plan.
right.
are we mandated to have this or
Um,
updated every so often?
You are if you're going to log the
Yeah.
area, but otherwise you're not. But in the forestry management plan, it's just that. It's basically exactly what you said.
But are there areas that actually might be appropriate for a harvest?
Possibly, and like I said, the
That's what
areas,
he would evaluate.
And then you evaluate.
the areas that aren't satwas
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
and are, relatively accessible, certainly the one adjacent to 125. So, those they probably would look at, what is the
Yeah.
potential there, what could the town,
I think he
that-
would probably evaluate the whole plot, everything, and make recommendations.
right?
That's what he's done elsewhere.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised it hasn't been done all these years.
Well, I think it was done way back, like 20 years ago,
Oh, it
but
was,
obviously
okay.
it's been a long time. And
Really?
my understanding is that Connor has the files or whatever, old and certainly when they put in the habitat, they had to have some kind of plan, obviously, they didn't
For
just
that
wing
area,
it,
yeah, you would hope.
So there are other documents that they'll be referring to, but it's certainly a matter of updating it.
This was
I just like
originally
the,
proposed, it was gonna be a Walmart distribution center, and everybody in the area said, no way.
Yeah.
I just like the Mendham pond area.
This is closer to Manchester.
And it has a very, very nice forestry plan, but there's been significant logging in areas, appropriate logging, but they make, they leave all this slash.
Yeah.
And it's just pathetic what they do.
Well, again, it's all a matter of what you're.
Yeah,
what
and
you're
so,
aiming
I hope we can get.
Yeah,
also
and the first thing I said is, we don't
Yeah.
want them logging near where the trails are, right? We want to
Slash.
not
That makes
cause,
sense.
yeah. So, I think they're sensitive to that at least, but again, it's really a matter of just getting a sense of what's out there and what the potential is for various things, but certainly the habitat, water supply protection, of course.
Well, I've
For the
read
trail.
several forest management plans,
Mhm.
and they really are necessary for a forest.
Mhm.
And quite often, they'll talk about management because some areas need to be thinned and so forth. But they'll also have reserves. There'll be parts that should never be touched.
Mhm.
So it's just important to have these forests.
Right.
A big chunk of the new trail on Goodwill, we've been discussing it, just, while we're up there doing stuff, but we're thinking of explaining, all right, this is the type of forestry that went on here. because we got he said, a lot of slashes left over, and it's, you know, it's, you look at it and go, who cut a trail this wide? No, it's logging. But to explain, because some areas are really tough to get around with all the crap they left. They did reseed the area that we
And generally, you don't want to pick up most of the slash, and
Right.
it's good to
Yeah.
leave.
Yes.
that alone.
Environmental,
That's what we want to explain.
And what he did, what Tim did when he did the logging plan for Goodwill was he actually made sure that there was only one crossing of the existing trails. Now, you know, we're trying to lay out a new trail, and obviously that's not something he took into account, because it didn't exist at the time. But he's cognizant of that,
Yeah.
and we can certainly make any requests we want.
Mhm.
Yeah, we figured, why not? People should understand it. I know when some people went out there, when they started doing it, because it took a while, the lack of ground freeze. People were like, oh my God, someone's out there destroying. And like, no, this is the plan. And we posted those plans multiple times up on Facebook to let people know that this is in accordance with the town, graces.
Yeah, and you may know if you've been out on Stonehouse Forest, the CELT has been doing forestry projects. I went on one hike with them just a few weeks ago, and they were, they've been very good about explaining what they're up to and what it's for and all that. So, I don't think we'll be able to do anything that elaborate. They actually have signage that explains the project and some of the benefits and all. But certainly we want to be able to, describe it at least to people. Does anybody have any other specific comments, or I don't know if were you able to pull up the document? The proposal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you had it up there. Does it all sound good to you so far? Is that?
The one question I have is the natural resources assessment that was talked about, I don't know, some months ago, weeks ago. I guess it was done in 2019 in the town. Is that right?
Are you talking about the townwide
Yeah.
effort that the Stratford planning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But again, it's not so detailed. It's this kind of.
Well, so the forestry management, will that include an opportunity to identify natural resources while an assessment is being made of forestry management assessment?
I'm sorry, you're saying an update to that plan or?
Here's the list of things that he would include. I don't know if it covers what you're talking about. It does have wildlife habitat, wetland, water resources.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Resources, it's pretty much the gamut. Yeah, so it does serve all those purposes, recreation, rare species, et cetera. So it seems pretty comprehensive in my mind, so. But like I said, I think we will suggest that one specific thing about the habitat and providing some options for what to do with it.
Does anything say why we're doing this?
They had a research
Why
project
we're doing
with
forestry
birds
management plan.
out there.
Is there, just saying something.
Hopefully there's some documents.
It's usually the introduction to the plan, which is the reason for it. There's nothing here that.
Yeah, well, it looks like Connor asked for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been on the list, we, every year they make us come up with a wish list, if you remember. And it's been there for several years. It's just a matter of, getting to it, prioritizing and all. So this seems to be the year they're psyched to do it. I think partly because of these other parcels, they are interested in developing one along 125. So it made sense to kind of put them together. And, certainly it's important that if they are going to develop it, that it's not affect Satwasser proper. So, okay, well, I'll go ahead and pass that on to Connor. One thing though about the cost, if you see down somewhere at the bottom of it that he talks about, it's going to cost $12,000, I believe.
Yeah.
Change.
135.
Yeah, and but what Connor told me is that they're going to take the money out of the proceeds from the forestry on Goodwill. I don't know how much that was, but it was more than 12,000.
Yeah, it was something. It actually, no, well, I don't know what the first phase was. The second phase was something between 20 and 25.
Yeah. So anyway, there's money there. So it shouldn't affect our bottom line, our account.
What, do you know what bucket that money goes into?
Well, that's, yeah, I think that's kind of up for grabs, or I think it just goes into the general fund right
Okay.
now.
But
But
we're
in
not
the future, we want to try to create a precedent where at least some of it's going.
Right.
I mean, we don't know if there'll be many more. I mean, who knows with this,
Right.
if we get another big forestry project. But the idea is that we could become more self-funding and we could actually hire a part-time staffer. This predates you, but we had a whole round of we came up with a plan to fund a staff person that would be partly under your jurisdiction, but partly for our benefit, and they would do a lot of the stuff that volunteers are doing now and, kind of struggling to keep up with. And, hopefully we can get back to that, but basically the select board kind of nixed it, or I guess I should say the budget
Yeah,
committee.
it was, we would have started out funding it and would have gradually transitioned over to the town funding if they didn't.
Yeah. So anyway, part of the idea is that some of that funding could come from forestry projects, stewardship fees, several sources, and that hopefully that would, reduce the need to drain the conservation fund, or, provide a line item in the future. So hopefully that can still be done sometime in the future, but it's not going to happen this year, unfortunately. Okay, so I guess unless anybody has any other last thoughts, move on to some old business. And these are mostly just kind of quick updates, but in the invasive species workshop I did, actually on that hike I took, and it's Stonehouse Forest, they happen to have the person in cooperative extension who deals with invasive species was there. Her name is also Lindsay, if you remember Lindsay York from the association up here, the Stone Arch neighborhood, had requested that we do something about invasive species in the area. And it turns out that this woman, also named Lindsay, at Cooperative Extension, does that regularly, and she was happy to provide a workshop to us at some point. And then I went back to the other Lindsay and, suggested, well, maybe it could be done this summer, but it's kind of tricky with the between the town hall and the library. I mean, it's certainly more convenient for people up here to just come over to the library. They could walk. Come to the town hall. But I believe they're kind of switching to not have as many public events at the town hall, and of course have more at the new library, right? Because they're going to have a new, large meeting room that's actually bigger than the one here. I think it holds up to 100 people, 80 people. And it'll be available sometime in July. So, it seems more likely that would work better, even though it's a little farther down the road. But of course, we'd open it up to the whole community. And then perhaps have a on-site workshop. When Charlie and I were hiking up on the Part C up here, right at the beginning of that trail, like within 10 feet, we saw like 3 or 4 different invasive species all growing together. I mean, I didn't even know they all grew, alongside each other, but there they were. So it wouldn't be hard to do a really easy, show and tell kind of thing. So hopefully that could be part of it. But at this point, we're looking at, probably August or September. I hear it's better to focus on this stuff in September just because of when things are
They kick things
growing.
off in July and August.
Yeah, and generally, it's not good to do anything in July or August, but I'm saying in terms of the plants, supposedly better to address them then. But anyway, that's where it stands at this point. So I need to get back to Connor and see if in the library, I don't think they've made up their schedule yet for new events. But they obviously
I was
will be.
invited to a July 19th opening.
Right, yeah, the opening is
Yeah.
coming up, so there'll be that.
Well, the ribbon cutting is the 10th.
There's all kinds of dates involved.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, well, let's not get into all that. You can look it up. I'm sure it's all posted somewhere. Definitely look out for it though. But anyway, that's where that stands at this point. I also heard back from Lori Summer. You remember she came in twice, right, to visit us to talk about it. This 400 acres of land, pretty big deal, on the west side of Ayers Lake. So she contacted me a week or two ago and said, do you guys have a plan for, taking it to the select board? And we're like, well, we hadn't settled on an amount yet, right? And I thought we left it that we were going to figure out what we had.
We were hoping to get answers back on Dan.
Right. And I think that's still the case, but, so it seemed a little premature that she was asking us to basically,
Yeah, the time frame of next year.
yeah.
And I'm sure for planning purposes, you'd like to put a number next to our name. It's like that
Yeah,
ad there
and I
about,
think
what's the salary, competitive?
Right.
But, we really like to know, because that dam eventually, maybe someone in the state's gonna wake up and get mad at us someday.
Yeah, doesn't seem likely, but we do need to address it, and obviously we want to be sure to have the money. And we like to give them as much as we can. I presume if we have more, we might as well chip in more. We've been kind of stingy on some of the previous projects, although if Coot Farm is heating up again, that'll be an even bigger one. That's what, 800 acres or something out there, so.
Did she ever give us a good answer about public access to the Bedford Ayers Lake property? Do you have a
Not
hard answer on
specifically,
that?
but generally Sell makes all their properties open to the public. Whether they build trails or not and how much, how accessible it'll be is unknown.
I think part of the problem is the spot where we get access is
Right on the way.
Denisian Road, I think,
Yeah,
which is private road.
right.
So I don't.
There's a
Yeah.
problem there, I think.
Yeah, possibly. But in any case, we need to,
Does that mean no possibility for a public beach?
no, well,
Be a beach is a whole different animal.
yeah, nobody's talking about that at this point.
Well,
It's
it's
not-
on
not
lake,
that.
so I'm,
Yeah.
No, there are people in town that really like one.
Yeah.
well, yeah, all this
Yeah.
water we have and no
Yeah.
public beaches.
Yeah, no, it's a problem,
You're exactly right.
but I don't think this is gonna address that.
Okay, well,
In
you
shape
hope
or
it isn't
form,
all
yeah.
right.
The first issue is public access for hiking. There's already trails out there. So, and mostly, I've hiked it with
Yeah.
Matt Town.
Oh, and speaking of that, she's also offered that we could get a tour, which I presume folks would be interested in. Most all,
Yeah.
depending on when it is.
And that we could maybe press our case for, what are our options?
Right, right.
Yeah, there are people in town, like, in fact, Matt Town's one of them, but there's several others that would love to see a public beach, because right now the only quote-unquote one we have is
Well,
the
let's
swimming
not
pool.
get into that.
It's
Yeah,
going on.
that's
That's
been
a
an
longer
issue for
discussion.
many years.
Yeah, yeah.
It's failed.
And it's not something we're gonna be able to address now.
It's just,
But do folks agree that it'd be great to do a tour before we vote on a price?
I would like a tour and a really clear answer to public access.
Yeah, I mean, that can certainly be part of the discussion. Do folks have preference for, or, is there some time of the summer you're not gonna be around?
I don't think you can plan. for
Yeah, I
that.
suppose it'd be hard to. But one thing I thought is, maybe for convenience sake, we'd try to do it in conjunction with the Ayers Lake Association. Dan Cassidy
That makes sense.
is on both
Yeah.
groups, both committees, and they've already been contacted about doing it for them. But, hopefully we can arrange to do a joint gathering.
I think best to go with him and see if he can set it up, since he knows all the players.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, Lori's already into setting it up, but again, it's just a matter of, if we say, yeah, we'd like to do that. So stay tuned. We'll see if we can, it'll probably be in the next month or so, I would think. But the reason Lori kind of got back at it and finished the story was that they're looking to go before, or at least initially, with some state funding. Probably on the order of $100,000 or more. So they'd really like to have their ducks in a row, or at least have a general commitments. It may not be a specific amount, but they want to know that, the town is in on it. supportive of it. So I think that's kind of where she's coming from, is that they'd like to get that. I would hope that we'd have some answer by September.
Yeah, I mean, and the only way you could extend a number is maybe a different path if, you know, if we don't want to wait on the quote, is if we could get some firmer commitment from the town as far as sharing the cost of the dam, then we know that we're not going to drain our funds totally
Right.
with whatever price comes back.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, if we could get agreement for either a set amount from them or a percentage,
yeah,
then
Well, I
we
think
would
it's-
think we would feel more comfortable with extending a number too, so.
right. I think the problem there is knowing what the realm is of
When
possibility.
is the engineering plan supposed to be done?
I'm not sure, but I would think in the next few months. I mean,
I thought it
I
was
thought
September.
that, you know, maybe it's September, but it seems like they would want to have that. Obviously, the select board's not going to just pick a number or, you know,
Right.
guess about what it's going to cost.
Does it have to be a warrant article?
If the town was gonna chip in, yeah.
The town's gonna change.
Yeah, for that there would be, but not for this
There is a,
purchase. You know, that's just conservation.
there is a
fund.
capital reserve for dams, but I don't think it would have enough money.
Mhm. Not for the whole ticket.
Not even,
Some
they're happy to
portion.
say they would go with half. And
I don't know. I'm not sure where it's at now, but yeah.
I could look it up.
Yeah.
In fact, I
I think
mean,
you're right, that it's not, you know, 300,000 or something.
Yeah, and they can't drain it either because the initial obligation, I think, was for Swains Dam.
Right. So anyway, as you can discern from this, there's several moving parts here, and we'll have to try to sort that out, and hopefully we can by the end of the summer, but, you know, we'll see. You know, who knows how many meetings we'll have, or even the select board probably slacks off a bit during the summer, but hopefully we can give her some idea, if not a firm number. But just wanted to let you know that that's the process. Nippo Lake, interesting development there. If you recall, this is just a half-acre lot that this guy kind of ran amok with
Oh, yeah, right.
It's on the
clearing
southwest
it
corner.
essentially right down to the water shore. And if you know, Nippo is a particularly sensitive lake. A lot of effort and money has been put into trying to restore it from pollution problems.
It's not Lakeview Estates.
What?
It's not Lakeview Estates, I hope.
Well, no, it's not near there, but it's on
Good.
Flower Drive, but
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
on the shore.
That's good.
Anyway, the deal is the guy, if you recall, the, one of the neighbors, from Nippo Lake Association, was here at the last meeting and informed us that this guy is, in the hospice, is dying, and basically isn't gonna finish his dream house. And he, left it a total mess. So, the guy, Matt, who spoke to us, informed me just last week, that, he's purchased the property.
Oh, he did.
And, so it's now his baby. And I
You
believe,
should watch, the YouTube, of that CC meeting is online. It's worth watching.
yeah, if you want to get the lowdown on it. He was gonna come up with a list of some of their grievances, but obviously a lot of that's kind of,
Yeah.
by the way. But I believe he's meeting tomorrow with DES. Unfortunately, we don't know, obviously, yet what will happen there, but, he's gonna have to work out a plan with them to do the restoration, because, there was a restoration plan, but the previous owner didn't follow it, and so, I'm sure he's gonna try to work a deal where it won't be too onerous.
So that's not the one where the guy was gonna have like a development?
No.
That's a
He
different.
was,
No,
just-
there
yeah,
there
that's
was
like
a
a
core.
That's a
Single family home.
And
There
that's,
was an existing 900 square foot camp, and
Okay,
he was going
that's
to put up
enough.
like a
3,600.
3,600
Yeah.
square foot house.
big old.
And he took out a whole bunch of trees along the shoreline, which Nippo is protected. You're not supposed to do that.
I heard there were a couple lots for sale
Yeah.
down there. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
It's like every lake eventually has somebody who thinks, I own the land, I can do what I want. Like, oh no, we have a thing called laws.
Yeah.
Specifically the Shorelands Water Quality Protection Act.
But he did flaunt the laws, and it appears that some people at here at Town Hall kind of aided and abetted him, at least according to Matt's telling of the story. So I think it's still worth finding out a little more about what transpired there. And, you know, he's not the first person to raise issues with how things get decided in
Right.
terms of the, you know, code enforcement or lack thereof. But clearly there were enforcements that didn't happen. And, you know, we don't want it to happen again. Obviously, this is one too many. And, you know, we want to try to improve things in the future. So I think that, you know, this isn't certainly the end of it. But that's where things stand at this point. So again, we'll probably know more after tomorrow, but,
But, I mean, it came out great. I mean, the person who cared enough and has been leading the
Yeah.
fight
Yeah.
got a chance to put some money into what eventually will be the estate of this person unless the doctors make the wrong call.
yeah.
And he's, we
No,
know
it-
he's pretty motivated to.
the
restore things.
situation with the land turned out as well as it could have, but there, as Doug is saying, there's some issues
Well, yeah,
here
how it
that
got
need
that
to be
way.
explained.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul, were you going to be the one to follow up on that? Were you going to do some investigation?
No. No,
Well, I one other person that many of you know because he's been here, was here just at a previous meeting. Stephen Jeffries has raised some of these same types of issues with different properties.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he knows about the one at Nippo, but so what I'm saying is, you know, they're not the only ones that have had these issues, and there may be more out there, but we'd certainly like to, you know, try to improve the situation in the future. So, and I presume there'll be some transition going on at the code enforcement. I think that I thought that
Jamie's gonna be replaced.
no, Jamie's replacing.
Well, that's already happened. John
Oh, yeah,
Hawkins, Hawkins works
that's
part, he's a
not-
contractor, part-timer,
He's deputy code enforcement, Jamie. is
Right,
the-
yeah.
but is he gonna get the top job? I don't know if they're still,
Jamie
That was my
has it.
sense of it, is that he
Jamie
was,
has it.
okay. all right.
he already has it, yeah. But clearly, decisions were made that were, or, you know,
Well,
things.
nothing is clear, Doug. I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
yeah.
we don't know what the situation
Right.
is. It's hearsay.
But it's, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
There's questions.
And things could have been said correctly, and he blew it off totally. And,
Yeah,
you know, given that normally, I don't think the town shows up if you're gonna do something, but if you go off plan and rip all the trees down, was there, at that time, was there an event where code enforcement was due to go out for, like, a foundation? Or some other, no,
Yeah.
so they never would have gone out there, and we know that in this town,
There's
unless there's a
more,
complaint,
right.
there's more.
the town doesn't know about
I
it.
mean,
Unless you
the
happen to do
issues
something.
that were brought up are more concerning than that situation.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why it needs to be.
Yeah, so anyway, I mean, obviously, we shouldn't speculate at this point, but we'll be hearing more about it, I'm sure. So, okay, on to monitoring.
Yeah, well, the report of monitoring is, of course, we've had a really bad year, starting off because of the rain and just the difficult year. So of the high schedule through 6:30, there were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is Newhall was scheduled for 6:30. I've only been able to complete 2 of those. And as I told everybody, I hurt my back, so I can't play golf. So until I can play golf, I'm not hiking. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to redo the schedule. I'm going to kick this off instead of September, probably start hiking in August. And so I'll be hiking numerous hikes in August. Might have to do a little double time from August through September and October. Okay? What it's going to be. So that's what happens when you get an 80-year-old guy who's your hike guide and who gets a bad back, and I
Yeah.
travel a lot.
Which is just to clarify for him, this is easement monitoring, not hiking, but.
Yeah. So they're involved.
That's his hiking.
Monitoring the easement, which is, most of them are okay, but several of them are challenging.
Mhm.
It's why they get you on, skydive in or whatever you do.
Like the one in Mendham's.
Bushwhacking gets harder when.
Oh, man, yeah, it's really hard. I mean, bushwhacking is hard. I can do trails, but boy, bushwhacking is hard.
Yeah,
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 so I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
okay. So we'll see what you come up with a new schedule and
I'll get a new schedule.
we'll join in when we can.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll get it done.
The last item I had was the things from the State Association of Conservation Commissions, and SRPC as well. There was a plan to have a workshop, a training on wetlands, prime wetlands in particular, where they were going to go out and actually look at some wetlands. And one of the folks we know, Mark West, was one of the people that was going to lead it. Unfortunately, they didn't get enough people sign up, actually. And I actually wanted to sign up a few days before it was to take place, and they informed me that it ain't happening. They said it was probably the weather. Maybe it was too wet. I don't know. But it was actually a pretty nice day that Saturday. So, but it didn't happen. So you didn't miss anything if you didn't make it. And they'll be rescheduling it for sometime later in the year, September maybe. So I'll let you know if we hear more about that. And there was also a Zoom discussion about housing and conservation, housing and habitats. I think was the title. I don't know, you were on it, right? Did anybody else get in on it? It was just last week, I guess. I was watching it. I was a little distracted though, dealing with a few other things. I was trying to multitask. Didn't get a whole lot out of it. Do you have any impressions from what?
No, although I will say the follow-up email that had links to all the things that were discussed might be helpful for everybody to get a copy of too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I could send around.
Yeah.
And there was one other. I was thinking. Oh, again, the NHACC has put together what they call a toolkit for outreach. And we've kind of kicked around for some time, that we want to do more outreach. We want to let the public know more about what we're about and what the trails, what the things are to do. And so I haven't looked at it as yet, but again, I can send that around if folks are.
I think it's off their website.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But that just came out a few days ago. But I thought that might be helpful for us. Take a look at, see if there are things that we haven't thought of. So that's, I think that's about it in that stuff. There's nothing new from the Town and Trails Committee, as far as I know. They haven't. Are you in on that at all? You will be, I'm sure, when they.
I mean, Jesse's been kind of our funnel for things. I haven't heard anything about what they're. I assume they're crunching all the data between the surveys we did of people and the surveys we did of spots.
Right.
And don't know when that's due.
Yeah, actually, that does remind me of the one thing that we worked on a bit was the looking at the rail trail, if you will, the right of way that runs from Califfs up through to Scruton Pond Road. And they've actually, I guess the Snowmobile Association must have cleared a path up above Scruton Pond Road. I don't know if it goes all the way to Green Hill or not.
I was just going to ask that. Who did that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was open.
Yeah, you can see it's a big swath. I mean, they're basically, recreating the pathway of the original rail right of way. The problem there is there's a big abutment, and they had to kind of get around that. I guess there was a bridge over Scruton Pond Road 100 years ago or something.
I know somebody on the Rochester Conservation Commission, and that's their goal is to open up the snowmobile trails again so they can have access to other towns.
Yeah, and in general, I mean, I'm hoping that this, interconnectivity, or what's now called the Town and Trails Committee, will be able to work on collaborating more. That it seems like it's always been there's the snowmobile group and then there's us, and never the twain shall meet. It's like, and we ought to. Obviously, the trails are out there. 12 months of the year.
There was a plan that you would be able to cross Barrington on trails.
Right, and
but you start looking at like land stuff.
Yeah, but certainly there could be more than there is now. And so what I was getting to, and what relates to some other things going on, is that we checked out basically a trail to the new library, and there's just one little swath of 20 yards that needs to be cleared to complete that, or at least to have it be walkable. I just looked at the map today. Evidently, the property line does go right up to the right of way or on the other side of that little creek.
Yeah, that place we want to cross over that creek, that wonderful natural,
It's an old bridge
natural.
there, right?
Yeah, it's a.
Well, there's a bridge on the north end of the library, but it looks just like they put some pallets down. It's not safe enough.
No, I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is.
But there is a culvert that
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
over.
yeah.
But that is on animal hospital property.
I
If you
don't.
look at where the lines are, if that line goes directly to where their two lots are separate,
Yeah, that may be. I don't
That-
remember if we.
that culvert, which will be a perfect place to cross that creek. If not, we'd have to cut a slightly
Yeah.
different trail off of the rail trail and put in a bridge. Because I stood there once and said,
Well,
well, I could probably hop it, but I'm 6'1" and we're talking little kids.
yeah. Well, I would think the animal hospital would want to be.
Well, but Connor advised us that they've had some run-ins with the animal hospital. The animal hospital is
That
not,
was, I'm sure, about parking or
well,
something.
parking,
Lighting.
trucks coming in their lot,
Yeah.
anything they did.
But this is a pretty easy call. I mean, it's not like they're using the land back there at all. It doesn't relate. They probably aren't even aware that they have that. Anyway, I was thinking with the library opening, we're getting to the point where it'd be nice to actually have a walking trail to get there, so you don't have to.
Do we know who actually owns the land, the rail trail?
It's the Caleb family. It's Swenson, and I looked it up. It's like 30 acres when you add up all the length of it from basically from Route 9 to Steuben Pond
So doesn't the
Road.
project have to ask Garth?
Yeah, probably.
Can we?
What about the houses that are right after the Christmas Dove property? So it's like Christmas Dove ends right where the field ends, and then there's a couple of houses right there that you can see through the
Yeah,
woods.
they're also. I think they're all in family. We met the woman who rents one of them or was renting it. She came to one of our meetings. She was concerned about the project going on behind, where they're doing the
Sure.
new development. But in any case, technically we should go to Swenson's and try to sort out what, the deal is they make it available for snowmobilers, for bicyclists already.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not open to the public really, but obviously it'd be good to get an official agreement or whatever, approval needs to be
Yeah.
done.
Because I had an idea for, Charlie's Blazes. He may just make some out of, like bathroom, wall material, whatever, but decorate them up to make them look like books.
Mhm.
You can call it the library
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if nothing else, it'd be good to have a sign, at Caleb's with, to the library, It should be, more obvious for people. So anyway, I don't know how that gets done or, whether the Trails Committee could look into that some more or see what.
We
What
talked
is
about it
feasible.
during the BCDC meeting when we were talking about connectivity and all that, and we had discussed that exact spot to use crossover. So I don't know, maybe Connor knows a little bit about it, like who owns it and how to get through there.
Yeah, no, I mean, we know who owns it. It's just a matter of going to them. I mean, I don't think it should be a problem, but obviously it needs to be, straightened out. But anyway, wanted to throw it out there as something that'd be good to pursue. So I don't know if the Trails Committee, your
Well,
next
I think we're
meeting-
waiting for the project to tell us, if once in the agreement, yeah, we're gonna do this, for the length of that trail, especially when they're using the 10-foot wide, stone culvert that's there, will be easy. The hardest thing will be just clearing the access to the back of the, library parking lot.
Right.
And there is a little bit of a swale there, so you gotta
Yeah.
decide,
Yeah, it's true. It will.
do you wanna put a bridge there or tell people to,
Yeah.
we wait for the bridge, because there'll probably be a problem next spring, because I assume water collects there.
Probably, yeah.
And there is that, big hole there we gotta keep people away from.
Yeah. The Friends of the Libraries, you might guess, they've been, fixing it up, including the landscaping around the library. And I actually was over there working on it, and I, grabbed a pair of loppers and went over and started to clear a little bit of that. And it turned out that some of the people working on the library were dumping their debris in that corner.
Yeah.
And I said, could you at least keep it off the trail, kind of go to one side.
Well, a
or
trail
the
that they can't see right now.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
But I was
okay.
informing them that there will be a trail here someday. So anyway, I suppose it'll be an ongoing project, but it'd be great to at least inform people that that's a possibility. So,
I mean, if you want, we go get some tape. We at least show, so people can at least see where it is. And
Yeah, you can-
it might be a warning to people that, hey, please don't dump any of your stuff here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, even just a temporary sign saying, to caliphs, let people know
Wow.
that that's possible.
I guess before we got it cut, I would be a little leery of sending people into the woods.
Well, yeah, of course.
You and I can make it if we did,
Right,
but
yeah. Yeah, we probably ought to get approval for it.
this trail has to be kid friendly.
Right, yeah, yeah, certainly. And ideally, it would be something that you could ride your bike and not have to jump the creek. Yeah,
Can I just ask a question?
yeah,
So it sounds like the two things that would need to happen to get the trail accomplished are, permission from the owner and getting some kind of agreement with the animal hospital.
yeah, well, there's, I mean, that's,
Yeah, if it
I mean,
encroaches
two
on
different
the-
owners, I guess, whether it's the right of way proper or
Yeah,
the connection, yeah.
would Connor be able to advise us on that?
I would think so. I mean, I'm sure he knows them,
Yeah.
or, they.
But I think the overall project has to say, yeah, that's one of the things we want to do.
Right,
And it probably would be, oh, something has to be passed along to the Swensons.
right.
And
Well, I'd be willing to, bring it up with Connor. I have a couple other things to talk with him about, but, at least get him thinking about it. And,
I assume Cooperative Extension is probably going to be another one of those groups that's going to use the big room at the library and show off what these studies come up with and what the recommendations are.
yeah,
What's the length of that trail? It's
quarter mile. I mean, from Caleb's. Yeah, really. Well, you think about when you drive, you don't think about it. It takes 1 minute
Yeah.
to zip up there, but it's basically the same length, just.
Is it
in the
straight,
woods.
like dead
It's
straight?
dead straight. I mean, it's a railroad line, so it is.
Yeah, there's
dead
only a
straight.
little bitty curve at the beginning. When
Yeah.
you jog around that old garage.
Right.
But other than that, it's.
The whole thing was
straight
parallel
down.
with 125 from Scruton Pond
Yeah.
all the way down.
Yeah.
So it's like parallel right with 125.
But it's in the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's,
But like the whole-
But you could drive a truck down it.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we just don't have any handicapped accessible trails in town.
Yeah, and that's one of the other topics that's kind of on the list of, can we
Might
find
be
more?
some
Yeah,
grant money
and
available,
this would be the
stuff like
most
that.
obvious one.
Yeah.
But it turns out the deal is when the, Caleb's, I guess, it's, whoever runs between the gift shop and Caleb's proper, they basically took over that parking area that, was a park and ride for a while. It's always owned by them, I guess. They, blocked the access to the immediate, the original right of way. And so what they did is they created a new trail that skirted around, to the right. And so if you're, standing there on Route 9, there's this shed, garage.
It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
And it goes to the right of that.
It looks very New Hampshire.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I'll
Yeah,
give you
it's
that.
definitely a New Hampshire landscape. But the point is that they had to create a new trail. So there's roots and stuff. It's not perfectly, it would need some work
Yeah.
to make it wheelchair accessible. But it could be done, certainly.
Yeah,
And that's only
If you brought in
50
stone
yards,
dust
and
for
then it's,
100 feet,
yeah.
Yeah.
if you brought in 100 feet
Yeah.
worth of stone dust, you could make that end of it.
Right.
The other problem is you need to make the other end. There is a little bit of a slope to get over to the library.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know I'd have to go look. I mean, I'm sure on 88 trails,
It's pretty flat.
it's gotta be pretty damn flat.
Yeah, well, I think you would need to build a bridge. I mean, assuming they want to keep.
Yeah, but
that
even if forgetting the creek, there's still, it comes
Oh, yeah.
down from the library and it comes down from the trail. You're
Yeah,
you're
it's
a little
fairly
bit-
gentle, but yeah, I don't know what the rules
Well,
are.
I think what we'll end up doing is we'll make it more of a switchback, make the incline slow, which stretches it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, that's still to be figured out, but in theory, it's the most likely trail probably. The other one, of course, being the perimeter trail around the common. You worked on it, right? It's
Yeah.
fairly flat now.
Yeah, it is
There's still
flat.
some roots and stuff.
Yeah.
that could
If
be
it
a
painted
problem,
red.
But that's another possibility for one that would.
Is that under discussion as well?
I don't know specifically if,
You have to pick out
Talked
all the
about
roots
it.
or cover.
yeah,
Yeah, so initially when there was grant money coming in, right, like we were talking about, like, that would all get dug out and then you'd have proper footing put in. And And then the grade is perfect for ADA. It's
Yeah,
just that,
It's pretty flat.
yeah. My wife used to work with Northeast Passage at UNH, and so she's very familiar. So she came out with maybe flag the whole thing with the flattest smooth areas we could. That's good. It's just it needs proper footing down, and to do that makes the process,
Who would be making the grant application if there are grant monies available for ADA?
Well, it could be us. Trails Committee.
Yeah, the trail itself doesn't belong to the Trails Committee, but yeah.
It's on town property.
Yeah.
Could take jurisdiction, but anyway, it's certainly being discussed, or considered. So again, to be continued, but that's where that stands. Any other business to come before us? Anything from lakes or rivers groups? Did you say that anything new with the Isinglass, or you were saying that wasn't?
So I just said, there was a study done this last year by, I think it was funded by DQ or somebody. Very major study done by a company out of Shasta, California on water flows, high flows, low flows, and should be done. And if you haven't seen it, I will call the guy. I have his phone number. I'll call him. And that report that. Because that can be a very interesting report for establishing how to maintain the health of that river, because at times the flow is so low that it's not healthy. And
As for development, there's nothing for months and months. We get together at Milos.
Yeah.
there's nothing
On the
going
third
on.
Monday.
Nothing
Yeah.
going on, yeah.
Well, it'd be good to know
But
when
I'll
that's
track that.
available.
I'll track that report down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
On swings, I just wanna,
Yeah,
so last year they treated for milfoil,
all right.
and they did an assessment this spring, and they said it didn't need it. They were thinking they'd have to retreat this spring, but it turns out they don't, but that doesn't mean they won't have to retreat it, August, September or something. But so far it looks pretty good. But the other problem is, it's the only lake right now around that has the cyanobacteria. So I think that's a real issue. It's had it for a week now.
Oh, yeah, that
And,
just came up.
Yeah, and
Uh,
so I think somehow they really need to look into what the issue is there. I mean, I know it's partly because it's so shallow. That is part of it, and the weather, the heat.
Right.
But I'm thinking there has to be more to it, that
Yeah,
other lakes don't get it as frequently as that does.
yeah, well, there's certainly runoff issues.
Yeah,
There's a
well-
lot.
Yeah.
Land
Yeah.
use, et cetera.
So,
Mhm.
All the extra water we've had this spring, something else could have flowed in, and then all of a sudden you're seeing, it's coming from farmland.
Well, it's really hard, because as much as you try and educate people, don't fertilize your lawn down
Right.
or check your septic, there are people that just totally refuse to do that. So,
Yeah. Well, so, as far as again, find out more, I guess.
yeah,
Develops.
yeah,
Yeah,
the warning is still on, as far as I know.
yeah.
And DES puts those out.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see if I can find out where they do that.
There's
Yeah.
a site you can go to, Safe Swimming or something.
Yeah,
on the-
yeah, because, it's been a big issue on like Saki.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the Globe had a pretty good article on it. And they talked specifically about folks, I think they said Winnipesaukee is responsible for billions of dollars in revenue
Mhm.
for New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden you can't swim it. And they said they're seeing cyno outbreaks in areas on the lake that never happened before. So they're really concerned.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Wow.
So all that reminds me of one other more local issue. If you recall, there was some concern when the one of the two new houses that are being built on Scruton Pond Road by the prime wetlands
Yeah.
behind there. There was concern about that they had cleared pretty much down to the water line.
Yeah.
Well, my wife just happened to strike up a conversation with the guy who was out working on his yard or whatever, and turns out he's a pretty interesting fellow, and he's really wanting to make it very natural. He's gonna do native plantings and such. He wants to have it be, not a big yard with, the runoff and all that. So it seems like, even though it probably wasn't great the way he initially, they cleared the land, he's gonna, restore it to some degree, or, he seems very concerned about doing it right. So just wanted to let folks know that that's better than what we thought it might
Now,
be.
is the owner the contractor or?
No, this is the owner of the house. I mean,
Okay,
he's
so he
living-
probably didn't make the original
Yeah,
offense then.
yeah,
The builder
yeah.
did.
But I think the idea was that he, wants to do it right, and he just
That's
seems
good.
like a really good guy.
Yeah, because now I drive around Barrington when I see, some golf course type of lawn.
Yeah,
It shouldn't look like that.
yeah, and it takes a lot of work to keep it up. So, a lot of chemicals and such. So as far as we know, that's better than we thought. So, sightings. What are folks seeing out there?
Fireflies?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot in our yard. Yeah.
Tree swallows and red-breasted gosling. It's coming about every other day, and my feet are beautiful bird,
Yeah.
gorgeous.
You see the video of the deer that went through the window with friendly toast?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
amazing.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you know
I
what
mean,
friendly toast is, you're like, what's a deer doing
Yeah.
down there?
This is like right on Congress Street. I mean, you wonder how the hell it
It
ended
went
up
through the
there.
window?
Yeah, they're showing people, they're doing setup, and all of a sudden this deer just comes flying through the window.
Wow, that was amazing. Yeah. I've seen a lot of Broadwing hawks. I don't know if they don't hang out with Cooper's hawks, but it seems like we see one or the other, but not both. So it's kind of curious whether because
Maybe a
I think
gang
they
war
eat
thing,
different. Yeah, I don't
Gang
know.
colors.
I mean, I'm sure they have their territories, but they do eat different critters as far as I know. But, and we also saw a barred owl, actually a whole group of people. It was friends of the library were meeting somebody's backyard on Swain Road, and this barred owl just perched right up in the tree and flew right over the crowd. So everybody saw it. The other things? That it for now? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
My second.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ed.
everybody.